because you're naked. I just don't want anything to get twisted.
He doesn't want me to slip.
All right, so we are on week 11. Let me put these, when I'm looking for these in 4 weeks, they're hanging right here. We are on week 11. What are you drinking?
Water.
Do they pay you to drink this water?
No, but they certainly should.
Is that alkaline water or is it the other one? Alkaline?
It's alkaline water.
Annie doesn't allow me to drink alkaline water because it does something to me where I can't get enough of her. I don't know why, but it like gives me that extra
it makes
energy.
me fart.
No.
You think it's this?
So it happened, we were on a road trip and I was exhausted. And the only thing that we could find in the middle of nowhere was water. And I heard Steve Aoki talking about all he drinks is alkaline water. And I was like, I'll give it a shot. And that night, like, I wouldn't stop. And so whatever it was.
So the point to the alkaline water is the molecule is bigger, so it hydrates you better. Like, it hydrates you at more of a molecular level than just regular water does.
Okay, so there's, like, nothing special to it except for you get more hydration.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So did you just crave her more, or, like, gave you a boner?
No, I craved her more, and, I would, like, as soon as I was done, I was going again. Like, it was all night long.
To this.
Like, he needs any help.
Do you want me
with
to start drinking
That's
this?
That's her problem. She was mad at me because she's like, you don't need extra, like, with the testosterone.
You don't need any help.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want me to start drinking that?
I'm positive.
Guess what I have? What do you think I call this?
Who knows? A dirty ass cup?
I call it the Dirty Sanchez because it looks like a milk mustache.
Yeah, it's pretty gross looking.
Because there was greens in here earlier.
Yeah.
I was watching your live stream with Nicole yesterday in my office, and Annie walked in, and you took a drink out of your bright blue drink, and she's like, "What the fuck?"
It's Kool-Aid. I tell people it's Kool-Aid.
Well, like, she knows that's not Kool-Aid, and she knows, like, when you mix Onward, it's kind of like kind of a color, but that thing was like neon blue.
Oh, you should totally see me pee.
It's like brown.
Yeah,
it's not. Like Shrek piss. That was a great movie. Okay, so we are on
11.
Question and answer private group 11. Evan Dixon. Was that a hyphen?
That's
dash. Evan Dixon, radio made easy. I'm going to have to move my office into my garage to have enough space to build all of the radio packages efficiently. He is all about efficiency. Mm-hmm. I feel like that dude is super organized. He would come in here and organize my shit, and I would never find a fucking thing ever.
His entire display was in one pack-out container. Like,
yes.
you know, like he had it
he's making these he's making like this rolling workbench.
Oh, that's cool.
Out of pack-out, so they bolt them together. It's fucking badass.
He needs to have that on a YouTube video because pack-out people will watch it.
Well, I need to get him with Shane from Shane from.
I've heard you say his.
Oh,
channel,
what is his? Yeah, because it's not what you think it is. But all he does is pack out stuff.
Yeah.
And then Pack Out King.
Maybe that's the one that I'm.
That dude's on Instagram, super cool. Like every time I communicate with that dude, he like right back, man.
And those tools, like, I mean, you know, they're containers, but like those are really cool tools. You know, like it's stuff that all guys would be interested in.
And they get you because it's red. They get you to buy the Milwaukee tools, even though it almost seems like Pack Out and Milwaukee are two separate companies. But they have a whole entire line of U.S. made tools right now that are 100% made in the United States. Yeah,
that's cool.
And if you haven't priced tools, like tools have gone up in price. Like, like the
cheap.
days of you know a Craftsman set for $600 and you have every tool you'll ever like those days are fucking gone.
So I was looking for I call it an edger, but it's a weed eater, so I can do edging.
So
with
a string trimmer.
Yeah, string trimmer. And I have cobalt stuff, so I wanted to stick with it so we can do the battery chain shit. It was like at the beginning of spring. I saw it for $75 at Lowe's, and I held off. I just always do. I'm like, oh, we'll see. The next week it was $150, and then so I was like, well, I just learned that lesson. I better buy it now before. It doubles
keep in mind, like buying the cobalt stuff because it's 80 volt, right?
I have a 24 volt, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I bought the 80 volt stuff. It's fucking heavy.
Yeah.
Like if you're just doing a little bit of you know, okay, but if you're doing like 2 miles of fence line or something, and the string trimmer is super underpowered compared to a gas one.
Oh,
like if you really want to start buying electric tools, go over to Rural King
Yeah.
and just buy you your first steel.
Steel. Okay, so I wasn't, because you can get it at places like Royal King. I wasn't sure about that brand.
Steel. Yeah. That's like that's the premier. That's like
okay.
Steel Husqvarna. That's Chevy Ford.
Okay, I know Husqvarna, but I didn't know
I
the
also
other
don't think you can go wrong buying like Ego or Echo or Ego. I think it's Ego. It's the green stuff that Home Depot sells.
I was going to ask you what color, because I know them by color.
Yeah, so I think I'm stuck on the battery thing too. But I mean, if you look through there, I've got 10 different fucking battery lines, right? So does it really matter if we bring another one in at this point?
Exactly.
And the battery technology is so good now. Like, if you're going to put the shit away and not use it for the year, they say lithiums you want to discharge to about 50% and then store it forever.
It's good to know, because we're getting to that time to where we're not going to be using them that much.
I'm starting to think about it, like I'm rolling hoses up and starting to bring shit inside.
It's weird, because I think we had this discussion about
it's coming fast, man.
Yeah. I had, like, it just popped into my head, winter, because we've never had to deal with it. And that entire week, all I heard was people talking about winter's coming. Yeah, like, get your shit ready
So now is the time to go buy your girls their jackets.
Yes.
And boots, because that you don't want them to have cold feet.
No, yeah, and so we had a problem with that, because we moved here this time last year, like in that changing, and it was hard to find winter clothes once we needed them.
What do you want? What do you need for them?
Just, like boots and jackets.
Like cutesy shit, or like can get dirty stuff?
No, they don't get dirty that much.
Those girls aren't getting dirty.
Yeah.
They're not playing out in the backyard.
Just go get them some cute fucking Ugg boots or some. I don't even know that I'd buy real Uggs for them as fast as they're growing.
We used to get them. Well, we'd get them every year, a pair of like sheepskin style boots. They go to see Santa Claus in them, and then it lasts them the rest of the winter.
Yeah.
But we would get them at Target, and our Target here is like 25% of the size as our Target that we had before.
Yeah.
So
we had Target Greatland. Those were awesome.
Yeah.
I can save you some money on this and a lot of time on the Santa thing. I have a Santa suit. So we can just bring them here, and I can wear the Easter Bunny hat.
They would love that, actually. But you know where they like to go is the place in Franklin, that mall in Franklin. They like to go see
Cool
Santa
Springs?
there. Yeah, Cool Springs, yeah. So we used to go to Sacramento, because that was the closest major city that wasn't San Francisco. And, in California, I'm already a felon all over the place. But in San Francisco, I'm really a felon, so I never wanted to go there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're white, so.
Yeah, so, but then we came to Franklin last year, and they wanted to go back like 3-4 times because they really liked that.
So Green Hills Mall is a nicer mall, and they have a Santa in there. They have a huge area set up for the Santa. It's an indoor mall.
Yeah.
And they have the Cheesecake Factory there. There's the Container Store is right there.
Is that the place with all the watch stores?
Yes.
That's the one that we went to.
Yeah, so that's the one I was going to say.
I was going to say Green Hills has Tiffany, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, all those stores.
So we always get Tiffany ornaments. They get one a year because they're expensive. And we would always go, even in Sacramento, we'd go to Santa, and then Annie would take her jewelry to get cleaned, and we would buy an ornament. And that's why we picked that mall, because there was a Tiffany in that mall.
Their valet guys are really good. Like, we don't, like, no matter what the line is, when we pull up, they always come over and fucking grab our shit for us.
That's cool. We'll have to try that this year.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Anytime you can valet for even $20, like, it is worth every penny of it.
And we always tip them really well.
Yeah.
So you get a much different service.
We talked about this before. I was taught when I was like becoming bar age, if you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to go out.
Right.
And I believe that, because I used to work on tips too.
Your bartender knows every fucking person that frequents that bar.
Yeah.
And he can introduce you to people that you will not have access to otherwise.
Yeah, I don't remember where I heard it. It might have been from you, but you were like, if you want to meet the right people, go to the high-end hotel bar.
The boutique ones. Like I wanted to stay in this hotel we went to. It has a restaurant called Whitebird in Atlanta. Where is it? Chattanooga. Badass hotel. Super boutique. I think there's only like 27 rooms in the hotel or
super
something.
Super
small. $1,000 for the cheap room, and then if you want one that faces the water, it's like $3,000. But they have these fucking like I think they're called Watchman chairs or something for the night watchman.
Oh, that's cool.
But they're these huge like dome egg chairs, but they're like gold gilded with blue velvet. Like I tried. damnedest to find. I wanted to buy one of those, and all you find is like the Wayfair version.
Yeah,
like, Amanda
exactly.
couldn't even fuck. It's a kid's chair or something. All right, so let's do this. Evan Dixon. I'm gonna have to move my office into my garage and have enough space to build all the radio packages efficiently. How would you go about heating a garage through the winter? I can't make any modifications because it's a rental. Thinking maybe a Blue Flame propane heater. Okay, so North Carolina is very different than San Diego. With that said, though, San Diego, we had 30-degree temperatures pretty frequently. I would walk barefoot on the grass, and the grass would be frozen. We used a buddy heater in there, and we had no insulation. It was just stud, and there wasn't even sheetrock inside the garage. It was just stud framing, tar paper with whatever that shit, like concrete shit, stucco, I guess, on the outside. And we would run a buddy heater, and the buddy heater has two elements in it. So you can put single propane, it'll run off one, or it'll run off duals. And either way, it'll run one catalytic or two catalytics. I think that's what those are. They call them catalytics for that heater. And it will heat you the fuck out of the garage.
Yes,
and the garage was a 2.5 car garage. It was pitched, rafters up top. It was big. I'd be in there with just like sweatpants and Ugg boots. I wore Ugg boots all the time when I would sew. And you would just be sweating. You would literally have to turn it off and crack the door open. I really like the buddy heater. It's super convenient. I would also tell you a kerosene heater.
That's what I was going to say.
Cost-wise, kerosene heater is less expensive, not as convenient. I would tell you should have both of those anyways. Blue Flame propane heater. Are you talking about like a job site torpedo heater that blows out sideways? Number one, you have an open flame, and they're super loud. Like when we bought the building originally, I still have those two heaters somewhere. And we had them that ran on, I want to say that ran on diesel fuel is what you filled those with. And you had to plug them in. And man, it's like a jet. Super loud.
And they get really hot.
But I would tell you, Evan, kerosene heater, $130 to $160. You can buy kerosene on the pump. Kerosene literally stores damn near forever. Keep it airtight, seal it up.
Did he say that there was an electricity issue, or
no? He said he can't make any modifications because he's in a rental.
So, I mean, kerosene is perfectly fine, but when everything's going good and the power's on, why not just an electrical heater? Electric heater,
Totally could.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what would be more convenient.
So we heated in the old house. Our heat and air system went out, and it was one unit. It was like a package unit or something. We lived in the house for 7 years and heated off of wood and kerosene. But we had these little, I think they were called Delorme, and at the time they were $35. I think they're 40 or 50 now. They're these round heaters, come from Walmart. If you tip them over, they turn off. And we would literally run those for 3 years and burn them up and just get a new one. The new ones are cool because they're black. The old ones were like, they started white, but they'd kind of turn yellowish. And you could heat a bedroom with that to the point where you're just sweating. You're throwing all the covers off of you. You're turning those off. But that's electric. Yeah. And as the prepper that you are, I'm surprised that you don't have, and I'm not talking shit to you, I'm surprised you already don't have in your inventory a big buddy heater and a kerosene heater. I think you should have both of those. We give them to people as gifts when we get dudes all the time move here from California and stuff. They're not used to a winter. And inevitably when we're having storms, I'm like, hey, take this home. Learn how to use it now before you need it. Like, a kerosene heater is not going to do you any good without some kerosene. That
was actually when I said winter popped into my head. I need to get a bunch of kerosene for my kerosene heater.
Did I give you a heater?
Yeah. But you said you're not talking shit. I have to talk shit for a second because I know he just sold a house. What's he doing in a rental?
I was super surprised to hear him say rental.
Yeah, he's losing money by not owning. Hopefully it's because he's waiting for something to be built, and I'll accept that.
I seem to recall him saying that he's on like 50 or 75 acres. Maybe he's
he was
renting.
Asking about a lot of land. So maybe he's getting something built.
Maybe
so
he's doing
acceptable.
something.
Yeah. But every day that he's paying somebody else, he's losing money.
Yeah, I had skipped. I didn't even have electric in my head, man. And those electric heaters are super. We keep. If you go in the back bathroom, that shelving unit, there's probably 50 tubs protein.
Those little ones, yeah.
And then the whole top is probably full of those brand new in boxes.
Yeah, we had those in, like, we lived in a house that was old and never maintained, so it was drafty all the time. And I would keep one of those on my desk, and I'd call it 1 bacon or 2 bacon, because those are the settings. It looks like bacon strips.
Oh yeah.
And if I had it on 2 bacons, I would sweat out of my room.
So also we used, and Amanda has one by her desk probably right now, parabolic, the round dish ones from Costco or Sam's Club.
That's what I was thinking of.
Those work well too.
Yeah.
Though that is my favorite way to use electric heat personally. Because it doesn't blow, it just warms the air.
And it focuses.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can definitely focus it in whatever direction you want, but it heats all of the air instead of when it blows out of that little round heater. Once you get 5 feet away, the air is not warm anymore. Like that's coming out because it's cooled off.
You have to be right in its zone.
So I'm really looking at wood heat too. I know you said you can't make any modifications. But James Yeager had it's a metal box about this big, and it's a tent heater. It's a tent stove fireplace thing, and you open the door up, and all of the tubes are graduated. So you pull the one tube out, and then the tube comes out, the tube comes out, the tube comes out, and it makes a chimney through the flap in the tent. And they have these things where you can just you could set it next to a wall. I know you said you can't make any modifications, but with a 4-inch hole saw, we could knock a hole straight through this wall and run the chimney up the outside, and that piece going through the wall is going to be double or triple wall pipe, and you could run a firebox, so you're just running little chunks of in cuts of wood and stuff in those things. And then talking with Paul Wheaton yesterday, I never got to the point of saying it, but I'm like, you got this rocket mass heater that burns 1/10 of the wood. I'm like, but I really like splitting wood, right? I'm really proud of the wood pile. I want the whole fence line when you come in the property to just be firewood everywhere, right? I don't ever want to burn it. I just want to have it, right?
Better get to work.
So you're going to put a lot of firewood guys out of business. Josh Strivers, thanks for the info on the solar generators. After a weekend of running the camper on just a gas generator, I see the positive side of solar and not having to refuel every 10 hours. It also has me thinking that if gas propane became harder or expensive to heat with, that I would like to have a wood stove on hand. Would you go with a smaller one that you could handle and move into a place if you need it, thinking of putting one in the shed that could move in and out of the house as needed? I heated with just wood 3 to 4 years about 10 years ago. Okay, so there's a lot there, and let's just take them by the pieces. So having the solar generator instead of the gas. A solar generator is not a replacement for a gas generator. Gas generator turns on no matter what. The solar generator, you need to look at a solar generator as a battery. And how do we charge that battery? When the power works, you just leave that sucker plugged into the wall, and it just trickle charges. So when this power goes out, those boxes, those battery banks are full. You can build a system cheaper. Like my Blue Eddy system was $6,500. For $6,500, I would guess you could probably build a system twice the system, but it's not, doesn't have nice handles, doesn't have rubber feet, it's not in a nice package, and it all goes together, right? You could take a battery and wire it with some wing nuts and put one in her car and one in my car. The Blue Eddy, we just unplug these big, huge, beefy, robust plugs, and we put one box in the 4Runner, one box in the Tundra, one box in Tacoma, whatever, and now we can split those systems up. They're very, very convenient. I had said years ago, guys were taking little rolling cart, file carts, or like little golf caddies, and they were putting a tough box, a Rubbermaid tough box with a deep cycle battery, a charge controller, a solar panel with a kickstand. And I said, man, as soon as somebody packages this thing, it's going to be a $1 million idea. And Goal Zero, lo and behold, came out with it years later. Like, we had talked about it even in San Diego about building this little cart that we could just leave plugged into the wall, but when we need it. So you are dependent to recharge that on sun. Gasoline, nothing beats gasoline yet. So they're two different places, right? They're also super quiet. So during the day, You could also use that gas generator while you're running some shit. You could charge that battery bank off of the gas generator should you need to if it's raining or it's overcast.
What I'm wondering about is the panels, because panels are expensive, and I know you have a lot of panels. I mean, from what I saw, there was a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. My system is considerably cheaper if you buy it without those panels.
So what if you had one panel, or however much you need to charge one of those batteries? Best scenario, how long does it take to completely charge? Because if we're running it down and we need it again, how long are we?
Right. So you're not going to run. You're only going to run it 60% down. You're not ever going to run it down to 0. You can.
Yeah.
It's going to take way longer. It depends on the heat. The sunlight depends on if we have any overcast, if we're fogged. The true answer is I don't fucking know because I haven't ever actually tested it.
And you have a lot of panels, so I'm assuming that helps you go faster.
My panels fold out, and it's 4 panels in one unit, and I have 3 of those. And I can hook all 3 panels up and jam that system and start charging that system up.
Yeah.
Now, the way I would charge it, I wouldn't charge it all 3 together. I would charge one unit, and then I would hook it up and charge the next unit, and then I can put them together if I need them.
Yeah.
I can run them parallel or series or separate. We can do whatever we need to with them.
So you can. So it is viable if that's what you had.
Yeah, I can also add more panels to the system. I can
That's what I'm talking about, because not very many people can buy 100 panels or even have enough room for 100 panels. What if somebody's in an apartment or something like that? Like, what are we actually talking about here? I mean, it's a big battery, but once that's done, if the lights don't come back on for 2 weeks or whatever.
Correct. And the reason I bought this, literally, the real reason that I bought a solar generator is I want to get some of those electric bikes, those Upco bikes. And I thought, because here's what I picture. I picture us taking our goods to Court Square. When all the other people bring their goods and we have like a fucking flea market or whatever at Court Square, when the society collapses, we'll just, hook a cart up to our dog, or we'll take those electric bikes, right? And I thought it'd be nice to be able to charge those electric bikes off of something other than gasoline, and that was my solution. Also, I'm not planning to run refrigerators on that solar generator system. I plan to charge a lot of smaller devices.
Yeah.
Recharging.
And then you've got the gas for the big stuff.
Right. Recharging 123 batteries, recharging optics batteries, recharging cell phones, tablets, VX6Rs, communication stuff, shit like that, ham stuff, laptops for texting over ham radio, stuff like that. That's how I see using that and then running maybe light. And light, especially if you're running LED lights, man, you could power for months off of one of those batteries with just the LED lights.
Yeah.
But I like things compartmentalized. I don't plan to run a ton of shit on that. I plan to recharge batteries, and I have other chargers also, so that battery bank can be totally topped. In the evening, we can charge things when it's dark if we need to, but I have other chargers that will charge AA, AAA 123s. So I can charge a lot of that shit. So for instance, I say running lights off of the battery bank, you don't need to, because we have several just handheld lanterns, Coleman lanterns and stuff that are LED that run off, and I have some that'll run off 4Ds or 8Ds, so you can add to the gas tank if you want to. But I can charge those every day. I can just have them out in the sun.
Yeah.
Should we need to.
That reminded me about a little prep thing that I realized isn't as good as it used to be. I used to buy all the Harbor Freight lights whenever I was there. They were 50 cents. They're like, like oval. I think I went there the other day. They were $1.25 now.
Everything is out, and the quality is down on everything.
Yeah.
We did Coleman. I think they were Coleman. They looked like a hockey puck.
Yeah. And
they had blue and yellow, and they were kind of rubberized. They had 3 LEDs in them, and you just push in the center, and it's this little puck light. And we Velcroed them by every light switch in the house. So when the power was out, you always know where your light switches are. We can turn this on, and it would illuminate the entire room enough that you could just walk through the whole house. But they're Velcroed on, so we could just pull them off and use them should we need them.
Yeah.
And those were great.
Yeah, and like that kind of stuff is cheap enough to where you can buy them every time you get paid and have a stockpile of them if you need lights.
Absolutely. Like we had them to the point where like the rubber on them kind of became tacky, and that clear window that you pushed on kind of cracked, but still functional. And these were they were waterproof. You could use them outside and shit.
Yeah.
So Also, I'd be thinking gas propane became harder, expensive heat.
Wood stove on hand.
The wood stove. So I like the wood stove. If we're talking about, if you're already saying you're going to move that, go get around a real wood stove. We helped a dude unload a wood stove, and it took 4 of us to get it out of his truck. And that wasn't even a heavy wood stove, right? Go to Tractor Supply and pick that thing up and ask yourself, do I want to tackle moving this, especially once it's dirty, right? Those nice stoves sitting there don't look like that once you've burned them and then let them sit, in, especially if there's any humidity or anything around. So you can get these packable backpack stoves for tents. And like, we're in a shed here. This building here is 14 by 40 feet. So you can, whatever square footage that is, you can math that out. A wood burning, one of those tent stoves in here would cook us out of here. And you can buy them for a few $100. They make them out of titanium. They make them out of stainless steel. They got all kinds. So I think buying a few of those and just having them put away would be good. I've also got an EcoZoom. I think it's EcoZoom rocket mass heater. I have a rocket mass stove. No, it's not a heater. It's a rocket stove. It has a little door, firebox. You can literally just have the fire going and just take a twig and put it in there. And when it burns it, you can push it the rest of the way in. It's got a cooktop. That thing would cook you out of this building too. So I like dual function also, for sure, being able to cook on it as well as heat with it. I think you just have both. I think which one should you get first? I don't know. Depends on you. I always buy the cool thing first, and it's never the thing that I need. So, did I answer all of his questions?
Yes.
Great Wolf Tactical. With how things went sideways with COVID and the rise in violence, you bought the new Toyotas and stopped driving the Porsches. Have you considered getting a well-mannered, pointy-eared, bitey dog to take with y'all when you go out of town? And if you decide to get one, can you have it bite me? See y'all Friday. So you know those dirty things that I like you to do? I think that's Dakota's thing. His thing
is the dog biting him.
Just in my pants. I think he comes every time he gets bit by a dog.
I know he was getting bit out here the other.
I bet he came all over. I bet he's coming all. He was just coming all over the place. Yeah, we actually have had several real conversations about adding a dog. We spoke in depth, and actually we should have had you up there when we did the video about dog food and stuff. But yes, we have. It's right up there on my list with a monkey. Like, I think it'd be super cool to have a monkey. But then you have to fucking have a monkey. Like, a monkey has to wear diapers. It throws poop. It wants to jack off all the time. It smokes cigarettes with its toes and shit.
That'd be cool though.
It's like being in Singapore. I mean, or Thailand. But yeah, we've talked about it. It's just the commitment of it. And Joel says, he leaves his dogs at home. He always goes, every time he goes somewhere, he has a dog, but he has a lot of dogs. So, I mean, we could totally kennel them and do runs, and it's just something we haven't committed to yet, but there's been real talk of having a dog added, yeah.
The thing that I don't like about taking a dog somewhere, I know I'm not allowed to talk about my dog, so let's just say a dog.
Hey, did you get chickens, motherfucker?
No.
Did she show you the videos?
But the videos of what?
So
that she sent you? Oh yeah. Were you guys?
I sent them to her, so you couldn't pretend that they didn't exist.
Yeah, she did.
Dude, they had hundreds of chickens there that day.
It's one more level of frustration to have to travel with a dog.
I agree.
If you're going to be overnight somewhere, there's accommodations that have to be made, and it's a pain in the ass,
Is it, or do we just perceive it that way?
Well,
I know
you gotta
Nicole.
pay more if you're staying in a hotel. So there's one.
Yeah, well, there are hotel chains that are very pet friendly. Nicole canceled one Airbnb to accommodate. What's that guy's name? Man, that dude was super cool.
I think his name is David.
David, Jack Spirko's friend.
Okay.
Dude was super cool. He had the big dog. Mm-hmm. So they had changed. Not a big deal. It cost a little more, I think. Just because I think the property was better too.
Yeah.
Kennels. I mean, you can get those impact crates and stuff. Those are fucking pretty cool.
Yeah, he's talking about having them with you. You could take a crate into a hotel room. That'd be fine. But he's talking about, like, if you guys or go into Chattanooga for the weekend, should you have a security dog with you.
Correct.
Like, that would be kind of just a pain in the ass, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably, I mean, we could leave the dog crated in the truck when we go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
But what good is the dog going to do if it's crated in a truck, right?
Exactly.
Right.
We could also take the dog to the restaurant. I think at this point, nobody really says shit about having dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I know when Chris flies airline, he buys another ticket and his dog sits in the seat next to him.
Yeah, I mean, everybody does that now.
Yeah.
What was I gonna? I had one more point. I can't remember. We can move on. I had something I was gonna say, but I can't remember what it is.
Chuck Peoples, Appalachian Medical Solutions.
I wonder where he got the idea to.
I don't know, but he's a smart motherfucker right there. Smart. If you got a company, it drives me nuts. Like, I almost don't want to do business with a dude when he hits me up and I look at his shit and he's not proud enough to have his name connected with his company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially, I love when they give me free business advice and then I click and you can't find any business that they even work for or own.
So that topic has been brought up a lot this week because I like to own my product, and that, like, figuratively and literally. I don't like getting paid to give somebody my product. I like to get paid when it sells to everybody, you know? And I also own it in the way that this is what I did, and so it's worth way more than the little amount of money you can pay me for it, because I'm telling you this is the best I can do. And when people are trying to hide that they made something, to me it means that they didn't make a good product.
And I almost hear like evergreen, right? At
Yeah.
any time, in any place, somebody can find that material and it still be of value to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just time compartmentalized.
Exactly.
What drives me crazy is when you go on YouTube or Instagram and instead of somebody's name, it's like Pussy Slayer 1975.
I'm like, what, were you 12 when you made this?
You're like, so who the fuck are you really? Because your name obviously isn't that. And then you go on their profile and you're like, I don't even know who the hell this is.
Wasn't I in your phone as Pussy Slayer when we met?
No, fuck no.
What'd you have me in there as?
My future husband.
What was it really?
That's what it was.
It wasn't. It was something. It was something sluttier. What was it?
I don't think so.
Pussy Slayer. Do you think he regrets getting a dick tattoo on his cheek at age 12?
Probably.
Where were we at? Oh, we were in an abandoned building the other day, and there's like dicks everywhere, and it says big dick inside. So we come filming in, and it's like 8-inch dick,
and it's like this long.
And I'm like, I don't know how Sebastian got here, but Sebastian's definitely been here. He did all of these dicks.
He drew all the dicks.
Yeah, man, I'm talking about realest, one of the realest to try. My family, SOE, got the tools to survive. Yeah.